Hello there, Padawan learners, Jedi Masters, and lore legends. Welcome to the Bendu Podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the Bendu Podcast, where we seek balance in the Force. I'm your Moment 7, and we have all the bros here tonight. We have N64 Josh. What up, bro?
Oh.
Hello there. We have Nate Johns. What's up, bro?
Hey, guys.
And Nightcrawler.
Hey, how's it going? Crawler coming at you.
Yeah, so it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. We did our Halo podcast, but we haven't done our Star Wars podcast in a while. So, yeah. But we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Of course, the Book of Boba Fett, because, yeah, that's like the huge news, right, with Star Wars right now. So we're, of course, going to talk about it. There will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen episode 1 and 2, you might want to just like bookmark this, come back later, because there's going to be spoilers for sure.
If Boba dies.
Yeah, Boba's dead. Apparently, kind of. No, he's not. Yeah,
He rescued Rey's mom.
Yes, he did. And he's like Anakin. He doesn't like sand. He gets into everything.
Yep.
Well, guys, if you like this, you like the content, you like the podcast, jump on our Discord. It'll be in the description there for you. So just jump in if you want to chat with us and hang out. But let's start this off. We're going to go with the rumors and news first. And that's, of course, Jedi Fallen Order. We have some rumors for part 2, which apparently they're saying release May 4th. So what do you guys think? You think there's any credence to this rumor? What do you think we'll see from it? Where do we go from here?
5 months.
5 months?
5 months. Zero marketing yet?
Yeah, that's.
Are they saying the game comes out, or we're getting more info on
I think more
Star Wars
info.
Day?
Sorry, I should have reworded that. I think like
Okay,
maybe a trailer. Yeah.
Yes, I could see a
Out now,
trailer.
the Fallen
or,
Order 2.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, Bethesda likes to sometimes guerrilla market stuff and just less than 3 months put out a game. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see EA doing that.
And what was how long ago did the game come out?
It's been like 2-3 years.
I played it over Thanksgiving.
19, I think.
19. So it must have
That
been like
sounds right.
September around then.
It might have even been like October of 2019.
I remember
it was December.
November,
because
November.
It missed out. Yeah, it was
Right.
later because it did miss out on Game of the Year. It got robbed.
Yeah, November
That's right.
15th.
That's
So
right.
it hit like the day that they said no more. November
cut off,
15th,
yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Because that was
stupid.
Game of the Year that year. It
Oh,
got
100%. 100%. Yeah. I hope we see something cool. I don't know where the story goes from here. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Cal's got to go find somebody new, because you can't Metroid. Well, we kind of talked about this last night. You can't Metroid Jedi abilities out of him, but you brought up a good point, Neil. You said there's a whole lot more Jedi arsenal to learn.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about it, he could also maybe dabble in the dark side of stuff. There's lightning and other kinds of things. I mean, who knows? But I almost like the idea of a new character with Cal kind of taking the role of Master.
Like at a Jedi Academy that's maybe separate from Luke's or something like that.
That, or he just stumbles upon, like, because this is how many years after? It's only like 5 or so years after Revenge, right?
Yeah, it's like pretty soon after, like really soon after, I believe.
So
Looking it up.
Maybe
I mean, doesn't it start just after Order 66? I don't think it starts that much
Ki-
later than
kind
I've
of,
at least
but
played that much.
but he's salvaging ships for a few years, I think, in hiding.
That's true.
Yeah.
maybe
Yes.
he's Ezra's dad.
I mean, old enough to go from a youngling. Yeah. Thanks, Josh.
Oh
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
so yeah, because
Maybe-
Order 66, he's like 10 years old, and then he's like 19. So it's
Yeah.
probably like 9 years after, so 9 to 10 years.
So that could be like in the same time period as the Mandalorian.
No,
Well, I mean,
because
Grogu.
no,
Oh,
no,
that's true. I mean,
that's
No,
after
Mandalorian's after.
yeah, but they could go all
Mandalorian's
the way
after
through
Return of the
like
Jedi.
Return of the Jedi and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they could go
Yeah.
all the. You know what? I bet you. I take that back. I think I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have him fight some of the Inquisitors. I
Yeah,
think
I
they're
what I was
gonna
mean,
go
gonna
that
say.
route.
more Inquisitors would be good, and
Yeah.
they could use that as a tie into Kenobi if they
Yeah.
wanted to
And
in some
couldn't
way.
Kenobi show up?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe-
you could see some bounty hunters show up that they've teased in like Clone Wars, and in Bad Batch.
Couldn't Maul show up?
Inquisitors are going to be in Kenobi. So,
Yeah.
Maybe they can finish the story started in Solo
yeah.
Yeah.
with
I mean,
Maul.
Crimson Dawn, you got so much going on. Like, apparently you got, gosh, I mean, there's just so much that they could go into. The only thing though is how do they handle his powers? Like, you're now almost like Jedi Knight status, right? Like, because there's a part in the game where he's like, "Hey, I finally reached where I was before, Order 66." So now what do you
Just
do?
drop the mechanic. Make him a badass the whole time. Like that's I mean, that's fun, right? Like
Make more not power. Make him use the powers earlier with puzzles.
Yeah.
yeah, just let him be a Jedi. Let it play out like the way the Super Star Wars games were. Like Luke didn't touch a lightsaber in that game hardly at all. It was all blasters for the most part. And then in Super Empire Strikes Back, you were going more Jedi, and then by Return of the Jedi, you were full Jedi the whole time.
Yeah.
So, like it's more fun for the player when you feel more like you can just dominate anybody and have have control over it. And they can also do a skill tree where the stuff improves over time. I mean, we just experienced that in Halo Infinite, where it's like you can they
Yeah.
could build upon those abilities so they get even better. Like take him to let him go over 9,000 with his with his with his Jedi abilities.
Yeah.
Like let's see what we can do.
I'd be okay with if it was a prequel and you got to play. What's his master's name? His master's
Oh,
pretty
Japal?
badass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just play as him and have Cal tagging along behind you. Have
feel
it be
like-
Clone Wars
God
era.
of War.
Yeah, boy.
He just calls him
Boy.
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 I feel like it couldn't be called Fallen Order then.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I think it has to revolve around the Jedi like their fall,
I mean-
basically.
We don't know now. I also haven't finished the game, but we don't know what happens to him during that Empire, the main trilogy. So maybe they can explore some of that, have it go parallel to that, what he's doing there. Does he show up afterwards with Luke? And
I mean, it could be kind of the whole thing with like we didn't know Kanan was running around like doing stuff too, so it could have been Kanan and Ezra kind of situation where we just get to see a more fleshed out Cal Kestis, like what he's going to
Granted.
do.
they took care of both of those for the original trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, dude, how freaking cool would it be though if they had it where Cal survives and somehow ends up becoming like a grandmaster with maybe like Ezra later down the road reestablishing a Jedi Order. Like that would be really cool. Like if we get like
Maybe
Fallen Order 3 or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know if they could bring in Kenobi though,
Probably not.
because then
Yeah.
he knows about Cal during that, and why wouldn't he tell Luke to go find Cal?
Yeah, well, maybe because he thinks Luke is like the chosen one, and so like he doesn't really need to find. Because he does think he's the chosen one at some point. Because in Rebels, he's like, he tells Maul like he is the chosen one, like he, and
Doesn't mean he doesn't need help.
yeah, true.
What if Cal hides Grogu?
He
Timing
wouldn't have been
wouldn't
able to do
work.
that. He was on a ship.
No, he was,
Unless he somehow gets it's like a pass off. Someone hides Grogu initially, and then Cal
Ah,
finds whoever that is and keeps him safe until Mando, or until he gets stolen right before Mandalorian.
dude, what if he
What
went
if-
back to the temple? Yeah, like he goes back
What
and
if-
kind of sees like what Obi-Wan and Yoda saw.
Yeah.
That would be like crazy, dude.
Timing wouldn't work.
I mean, he could still go back. It would be like the temple's gone, and now there's the Emperor's temple. You know, like he could go back and be like,
Where's
"Dang,
Grogu in those like 10 years or whatever?
oh, maybe that
I'm
they."
Goog- I'm googling stuff right now just because I'm curious, like if Filoni's tied
Involved.
into any of this. Just because Bad Batch is about, well, that's immediately following Order 66, but Bad Batch
Yeah.
could possibly be brought in. Like
Yes.
there's some cool
Bane.
stuff, and Filoni getting elevated to his position, which is what, like chief artistic director or something. What
Yeah, I
he
mean,
has
he
some,
basically has a say in everything that Star
Yeah.
Wars story touches.
Now, is Fallen Order officially canon?
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
because they sell, or I think they're getting ready to sell Cal Kestis's his lightsaber at Batu, like, and those are only canon lightsabers, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
I just wasn't
everything
sure. Now that
is.
we've seen stuff that we know is not canon in Visions,
Yeah.
are they going to be able to do that? Or like, I think, the Ronin from the first Visions, he's getting his own story. Is that story canon, but the Visions episode not?
The Ronin is not going to be canon at all, I believe, from what I understand.
Even the comics that are coming out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything that says that he is. I heard it was all just like story, basically.
Yeah.
And Visions was precursored as all stories are non-canon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, man,
What if,
I don't know.
what if the second game played a little bit like Resident Evil Nemesis, and Vader is that Nemesis? Like, what if Vader's pissed? at
He
what
already
went
is.
down?
Yeah.
Spoilers on the game a little bit, but
Yeah, I
But-
mean,
Like, and it's a full-on assault, like, and maybe that's why you can't have him lose his powers, because it's it that I mean, that would be awesome if you're spending more time on the run, or even potentially having to like hide and sneak more. And
What if you're Vader and you have to kill Cal?
dang.
or they do the tried and true method. Now that I'm sitting thinking about it, like Cal just needs to get traumatized early on in the game, and he shuts himself off from the Force, and
The
he has
Mass
to
Effect
relearn
2.
stuff. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
he
like
Swedish
Siri,
chefs his
Siri gets
lightsaber.
killed or something by an Inquisitor.
Maybe he doesn't lose his lightsaber. He just loses the powers and can't wield it quite as well.
Oh, so like a Cal Catan? Yeah, I mean
Which,
that's
fun fact, he's so I don't know if any of you have played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I know Mule did for a while.
yeah.
But they brought back some non-canon characters,
Really?
including him and Starkiller and Mara Jade.
Dang.
Yeah.
Mara Jade's gonna get shoehorned into canon here pretty soon.
Of course.
with Rise of the Empire and all that kind of stuff.
Give
Yeah.
Slowly
Starkiller a
creeping in.
movie.
Give Starkiller a movie? Yeah, dude. I think we'd all love to see
Bring
an OP.
Starkiller in.
Oh my
Just bring
gosh.
him into.
He's the real chosen one.
I just want to see somebody pull down a Star Destroyer in a movie. Like that would be pretty cool.
Dude, I think in was it Bloodlines? It was hinted at that Luke actually did that. Like he pulled down a Star Destroyer. Like I don't think they come out and say it directly that Luke did it, but they're like something pulled this down, and it was like the only explanation was Luke did it. You know. So I mean, we've seen
Haven't
it.
finished that one.
Yeah, it was kind of slow. But
Bloodlines.
I think it was Bloodlines, yeah.
It ends really well. It ends
Yeah.
That's
really
what I've heard. I just
Yeah.
need to go back and finish that in the High Republic books.
Yeah.
Audible, baby.
Yeah, no, right. So
Yeah,
this is
I mean, and what if they took a page out of The Force Unleashed, and we get to see a secret apprentice from Vader?
I mean, you see it in the comics. He kind of has apprentices, not really, but kind of. I mean, we're getting to see right now in the newest Darth Vader a bunch of Ochi, that was basically the person that killed Rey's parents, like the little bounty hunter guy, Rey's mom. Sorry, Josh.
Well, and
You could have just said Ray's mom and dad. Then you would have got a Ray's mom in there for everybody that's playing the drinking game right now. They don't take a drink on Ray's parents.
But it spawned how many more Ray's moms?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's true.
Yeah,
Facts.
exactly. Yeah.
Facts.
with Boba Fett, like Boba Fett bringing in a character that's been in the comic. Now we'll get to that. Like, I don't know how old. How do you say his name? The bounty hunter. You're not going to attempt it.
I can't
I'm not
remember.
attempting it.
I can't remember. I would have to look it up, but I can't
But, I
I'd
remember.
mean,
have to
how he
hear
says
it.
But he's exiled. Like, he's banished from Kashyyyk. So he's. I mean, he's obviously.
You don't know how to say Dangar?
Dangar. That sounds like hit. Dangar. Man,
But,
that guy Dangar over there, he's a bounty hunter.
But Vader had like a crew that he kind of employed.
Yeah.
I'm half tempted to get Marvel Unlimited so I can just start reading all these comics.
Your library might have something too. Check
Mm-hmm.
out Hoopla. It's got a lot of the Marvel comics.
Yeah, anything Dark Horse you can find almost now free on the internet. Like there's a lot of places you can find it for free.
Are you talking about Black Crustan?
Yeah,
Is that how you say his name?
I
how I
think
said
so.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that dude's in a lot of the Dark Horse comments, especially with Boba Fett, IG-88. I think Dengar is with him at Bosk. Like, there's a lot of
How
involvement
does
with all of
Bosk
them.
work with him? Like,
I don't think
that
they
would be
work with
interesting.
him. I think it's just like competing
Just
bounty hunters.
understand the code and
I mean, it's been a long time since I read those Dark Horse comics. I'll have to go and rehash it, but like, he is a bad mofo bounty hunter, man. Like, possibly better than Boba. Like, that bad. Like, the scar he has on his eye, is, I believe some have said it's been hinted to being Obi-Wan that gave it to him. So we could possibly see him in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Like, and we'll just transition into this next thing news, which is like 2022 is a year of Star Wars, man. Like, this year, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should be extremely happy because we have the rest of the Book of Boba Fett. We have Andor. We have Kenobi. We have Mando season 3, and then Bad Batch. Like, that is a crap ton of Star Wars, man.
is
That's just on the TV side.
Yeah.
And is that chronological? That's not fully
I don't.
chronological. how that's coming
No,
out. Like,
because we know Andor's the summer. I think that's the only one we know, and
Mando's going to
likely-
most likely be December.
yeah, I
and-
would be shocked if it wasn't. And we just
What
don't know
about
Bad
Ahsoka?
Batch and Kenobi.
When's Ahsoka's?
Kenobi's in post production, so I mean, if
Most
that-
people
that
think
might-
Kenobi might be like around Star Wars Celebration, like July-ish.
I could see that.
Yeah. But when's Ahsoka? Is it 2023? I can't remember.
It must be because I
And-
initially thought it was.
and Rangers got scrapped, right?
Yep. Or at least,
Rogue Squadron got scrapped.
Yep.
That was a move. Well, I think Rogue Squadron might still be in limbo. I don't know if it's officially
Okay.
done. It may
It,
just
lo-
be pushed.
it lost its director and writer,
Mhm.
at least, I think.
Yeah.
I just want to see pilots being, I got the need for speed.
Yeah.
And at some point, we've got the Acolyte.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one as well. Yeah. I mean, there's literally so much that they're expanding on the Star Wars universe, and let's just get into Boba Fett because, man, I'll start by saying this: there's a lot of people on Twitch that I've been seeing, or not Twitch, excuse me, Twitter, that have just been like crapping on the Book of Boba Fett, just saying that Tim is too fat, that he's too old for the role. It's not the same Boba Fett they're used to, blah, 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 so on, so on, so on. Not enough killing, all that stuff. What do you guys think about all that? I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm going to let you guys kind of roll with
First
it
off, he's not in a jumpsuit. He's in a robe underneath that
Yeah.
thing. So it's not necessarily all fat. But hey, who hasn't gotten fat in the last? When did Clone Wars come out?
I mean, it's been a long time. Like 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I
Return of the
mean-
Jedi.
Yeah, it's been, we've all gotten fat in that time, so cut him a little slack. But he's also wearing a robe and not a jumpsuit, which you're used to seeing Boba Fett wear. So it's a different silhouette a little bit. And I mean, I'm glad we're going and getting character behind it. Like the first two episodes, it first off, explains to anybody who didn't realize that Boba Fett didn't die even in Legends in the Sarlacc pit, that he is alive.
Yeah.
And that he came out, and the memes with Patton Oswalt and the Parks and Recreation fully like breaking down the opening 5 minutes of the first episode is hilarious. And then you also, like, on this last episode, we see why he looks the way he looks when we see him finally in Mandalorian. So it kind of, these first 2 episodes were backstory building, and I think we're still going to see a lot of flashbacks like we've kind of been seeing, and why he is the character he is. But I think from this point on, we have, what is it, 6 or 8 more episodes? Is it a 10 run or is it an 8 run?
It's a short run.
It's 8, I
know that.
believe. And it has been confirmed that Filoni wrote 6, episode 6. So,
so I mean, so we have 4 more, or excuse me, 6 more episodes. Like, and I think it's going to be a lot. Okay, so 5 more episodes going forward. We're going to have a decent amount, I think, to build on from this point. Like, backstory has been fully established. We've now seen the Boba Fett that we see in Mando season 2, and we can go forward.
which I don't know. I mean, for me, makes a lot of sense because especially in episode 2 of Boba Fett, like when he has that lizard go in his nose, right, and it leads him to like this like mythical tree because the dunes used to be water and all that stuff, and you see a small tree and a big tree, and all the flashbacks with his dad Django is signifying like just his life and how he's angry because he's seeing himself in the mask, and just how he's out for revenge and just trying to make his way through the galaxy, kind of a deal. And when he has that stick and he breaks it, I feel like it's signifying the break of that, like his character is changing into one that is going to rule with honor, respect, dignity. Because you definitely see that playing out over and over and over in episode 1 and 2. Because, like, if this was old Boba, like bringing in these people and they're talking back to him, he'd just be like, dead, dead, dead. Like, he wouldn't even care, right?
He did disintegrate one dude.
True. But like at the same time, you can tell they're trying to build up like this very honor bound person, right? Like he's kind of switching gears. And it makes sense because like so here on my helmet here, my new Boba Fett helmet. It makes sense because like on the side of his helmet, this right here is supposed to signify remembering family, right? So it's like that's cool because it used to be a different color, which is signifying red. So this is like honoring a parent, this changing color on the side of the helmet. So it's really cool to see that because, like, man, if they're going the route I think they might go, they're gonna try to make him a man that's like basically an honorable warrior because you see that like theme with him dancing with the Sand People, which is a very warrioristic tribe, like very symbolic of the Mandalorian culture. I think they're going to try to lead him up to maybe be Mandalore, man. That's what it feels like. I mean, the comics do that with Django. Like, he was a rightful Mandalore. But it's like, dude, I don't know.
When he went to that tree, there was so much going on. There was... And I don't know that the show does the best job of making it clear how long he was in that Sarlacc pit, right? Like,
True.
and when you're like, when you think about the character in that situation of basically slowly being digested and dying, right? What's going through your mind? Like, your priorities are probably getting straightened out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And look at the way his character has completely changed. He comes in and like he's playing the hero to the Sand People, right? And a quick side note, how cool is it to get more like just to get a peek into the Sand People and more of their like tribal culture, and I really like that. But I think there's I think he is understanding the power that he has and realizing that he can rule without having to end everybody that disagrees. but I mean, not without letting his reputation go to the wayside. Like he didn't back down to that Wookiee. He was just like,
Yeah.
Or the Hutts. He
hands.
told the Hutts to turn tail and go back to Nalhutta. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care
Which-
what your tablet says.
I loved.
I can tell you where you stick that iPad.
and the mayor too, for that matter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What
I
were you
loved
saying
it,
there?
the hut scene where you can see their litter just bowing under their weight, and like the guy standing there, like just that little detail was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think those were puppets too. I don't think that was any CGI. I think that was, I mean, it was some CGI, but like it
Yeah.
was more
Like filler.
puppeteering than previous Hutts that we've seen on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought everything they did, from the fact that Boba left with like coin in his helmet, and he probably could have used that in that fight with the shielded warriors we saw in episode 1. Like that was all planned out. Like they intentionally did that to put him kind of in a more harmful situation. And I saw a lot of people like complaining about, why does he have to keep going to the back to tank? And I'm like, the dude was being freaking digested, man. Like he's been through a lot. Like he was half beaten and starved while he was in the wilderness with sand people.
Yeah.
Oh, and did you guys catch that? Like, have any of y'all watched the behind the scenes for New Hope? Like, there's a ton of like behind the scenes and cut out footage that they could have put in. So Tashi Station, that's where they went.
I've read about this.
Yeah.
That's where they went in episode 2. And I was like, dude, that's a pretty freaking cool like Easter egg callback right there. And apparently the 2 people in there were Luke's friends that were in the scenes that were cut out, stuff like that. I didn't know that. I actually like randomly stumbled upon a TikTok that showed that. And I was like, that's freaking cool, dude. But like,
So where he got the swoop bikes was at Tashi Station?
yeah.
Yep.
Some of those scenes that were cut, Luke wears a hat.
Yeah.
It's so goofy looking.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like Gilligan running around like from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Like, and some of the shots, I can see why they cut them, because they look kind of corny. It's like they tried to put two, like they tried to make it look like there was space battle going above them, and it was like these 2 sparkles, like just.
Oh yeah, him and Wedge are looking up from Tashi Station up at the sky, right? And
Yeah.
because they're seeing what's happening. I think with
they're
Leia's
seeing Leia getting
yeah,
captured.
yeah.
Yeah. It looked pretty cheesy. So it's good that didn't get make it. But so the swoop bikes, and like, can we just have regular speeder bikes? Like that's every time we see these like the Harleys where they're doing the, I'm like, what? Get these things out of here. I can't stand them. I've always been such a huge fan of speeder bikes. I've loved them ever since I was a kid. And every time I see like the banana seat speeder bike, I'm like, get that crap out of here.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what is that garbage?
Yeah. I mean, I thought that whole scene was freaking awesome too, man. Like seeing Boba just walk in and start beating the crap out of all these guys. Like, even though he's half dead, he's still beating the crap out of all these guys
with a subpar
like cycle rifle. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he had the cycle rifle, and then like he had his training
Bantha stick or whatever.
Gaffy stick.
Gaffy
Yeah.
stick.
Gaffy stick.
Yeah. Just, I mean, he broke the cycle rifle on one dude and looked at it like, oh, okay, I'll
He
chunk
just threw
it.
it
Up.
out.
Yeah.
Wonder
Yeah.
if it wasn't planned. If it was like he just went with it, and they kept the shot.
Yeah.
Possible. We'll have to wait for the behind the scenes.
Yeah, because it didn't look. It looked like he broke a prop on accident. It was like
He went
just
with
keep
it.
rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing, when the mayor they pay him,
Mhm.
and Bennett catches the bag, and you can tell she's like, this is a little light.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing said, but there was totally the like, just her body language and everything was like
A little head tilt. Yeah.
I think maybe they should a little fuller,
Yeah.
So, but we got to see my boys, the Gormarian guards. Like, I'm a huge, like, like Return of the Jedi will always be my favorite. I know it's not as good a movie as Empire, but as a kid, it's probably the first Star Wars that, like, I don't know if that's the one I remember the most as a kid, but the Rancor pit, like all that stuff, it was just such a spectacle, right? And that's what really drew me in, and seeing the Gormarian Guard get eaten by the Rancor, that always just stuck with me. It always stuck with me.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I don't like about these guys is, like, why aren't they more dressed? Like what? Like what? Like,
Jabba was keeping them clothed and fed. They're skinnier and
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
I
It's
mean,
like,
that's also that's also just the leftover suits that they had from the fight scene in Mando season 2. So
Yeah.
they just pulled that out of props and wardrobe and got it going.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they go though, and I would actually love, like, as we've seen more Sand People, I'm like, will we get a little history on Gormarian Guards, and, like, I would like to know a little bit more about them. We probably won't, but I again, because I'm just a sucker for it. Like,
Are we gonna see Nal Hutta? Are we gonna go to Nal Hutta?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt they'll go off Tatooine, honestly.
And what's the name of the moon?
Narshada.
Narshada.
That one? Yeah. Dude, you know what I think is going to happen? I think that they're building up and showing, like, the backstory of, like, all right, Boba is basically being assimilated into the Sand People culture, right? Like a very warrioristic culture, kind of like how Mando was, like, respected and, and just, like, understood. They had an understanding because it's like warrior to warrior, right? But I feel like one of the reasons why he's not worried about the Hutts or anybody else is because I think in his back pocket he has all the tribes of the Sand People. Like, probably news
they're
traveled
going-
around.
They're going the Dune route, huh?
I think so, man. I really think they might do something with, like, look, like, Boba's getting a lot of really powerful people upset about him. And who does he have other than just Finnick? Like the Gamorrean guards, that's it? Like,
Well, he
that's
brokered
it.
a deal with the spice runners too. He said,
That's true. The Pikes.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who else? I mean, to me, it's like you gotta get some more dudes on your side if you want to control everything. It can't just be you. Like, are we gonna see Mando come back in? Are we gonna see Din come back in? Like, like, I don't know.
He's lonely right now.
I mean, he's got the Darksaber. Could we see him
Yeah.
show up with the Darksaber and kick some butt with that? I mean, I feel like
I think they'll keep Mando separate.
Yeah, I feel like
I
it's
think
still
that'll
Thunder.
focus more on Mandalore and Bo-Katan and
Yeah.
Well, and if they want to bring them together, it's Din calling Boba and not
think
the
so.
other way around.
Yeah.
Boba's not going to call him.
Yeah.
He's got Finnick. I mean,
Yeah. Number one assassin in all of the bounty hunters, right? But yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? How's he gonna, like, keep his reign or his rule there?
I mean, I think the Sand People are going to play a big part. That's his kind of backup plan, is my guess.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, we could see, maybe if there's any strands left over from Crimson Dawn. I had read some rumor about Kira showing up or something. I don't know if that would work timeline wise, but
Yeah. Dude, and how freaking cool was that part when he got his gaffy stick and got robed, like basically got knighted, Like, that was super. Oh, and I think one of the actors that was like the main sand person that was like the really good fighter was the guy that was like the Red Ranger at one point. I can't remember his name.
I keep seeing some guy post TikToks about when
Yeah.
everyone else gets to when everyone else
Yeah.
gets to take off their mask on
Yeah.
on Boba. Yeah, he's because it first popped up for me is like he got a call from Disney for his audition. It's like, we want a weapons person, but we can't tell you what weapons. And then
Yeah.
he gets the job as the same as like a Tusken Raider, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that part was like amazing, man. The way they tied everything in, and almost like just like the tribal dance at the end just was really cool the way they did that. Like, everything about it, like, my kids were like, did you see the awesome dance at the end? That was so awesome. I was like, it was almost like the what they call it, the haka, like similar to something like that.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And before all that too, we get a Wild West train heist. I mean,
Yeah.
Favreau and Filoni are doing a great job of pulling old styles of filmmaking and just uh, genres and putting it into Star Wars, and especially that's at its roots. It's the gunslinger. It's uh,
I mean, that's our second
sword,
train
sword
heist.
fighting, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just glad we got to see the the grapple hooks like actually stick. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
Every
are they gonna
time.
walk
Every
sideways up
time
the
they-
building? Like, it's like the same. They use the same shot twice. Like the same hook going in. I also love that they got Anakin's pod racer, at least one of the pods, up on the top of that train. So we can keep it
Yeah.
keep that thing alive. What's funny though, at the end credits when they're showing the artwork, it looks just like the pod. Like it looks like his one of his pods. I was like, that's actually hilarious. Like
Yeah.
it didn't as much in the episode, but it really, and it's obviously it's bigger and stuff
Right.
too. But I just thought that was kind of funny as I was watching that, because you never know what you're gonna see in that the artwork. It's like any little hidden gems in here.
I love that, man. At the end of every episode, all that artwork like they did in
Yeah.
Mando, like that. Some of that's like I almost kind of wish they would put some of that in the shows. So good.
And this is season 1's art book from Mando. Season
Nice.
2 got delayed. That's coming out here sometime soon. It was
Dude, that
supposed to be
thing
out
is
December.
thick.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Is it like really thick? Like, what's the
I mean,
texture like on the
it's a
pages?
ton of artwork.
Oh, dude, that's freaking awesome.
Oh, nice.
It's all the concept art, right? From the
Yeah, all the concept art. It's
yeah. So going back a little bit to what you guys were saying about potentially, or Mule, what you were saying about him taking over Mandalore, like, would that not mean some kind of showdown with the Mandalorian to like, and if we know Mandalorian 3 is happening, would he not have to potentially kill Bubba?
Or at least
I mean,
best him in combat, make him
and
yield.
Bo-Katan wants it back too.
I think the conflict will be Bo-Katan and Din.
Yeah.
And
I think
dude, does
Boba's-
she
Boba's
have
gonna be happy. Boba's got an army of sand people. He's got the
Mhm.
pikes. Like, what? He's got a Rancor pit. Please fill that thing. Like, that scene pissed me off so much. I was like, it's back. I knew it wouldn't be the same one, but I was like, they got a new one in there. Like,
Yeah.
what's his name? Bib Fortuna, or whatever. Like, he
Yeah.
he refilled the Rancor pit. Let's go.
I actually thought it was fun that he didn't have one and just used his
Oh, yeah.
intimidation.
Don't-
Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree, but I was just like literally, like audibly, like leaning forward, like please be in there, like. But no, there was.
Yeah.
I want to see Rancors in, like, not on, Bad Batch or the baby Rancors. Like, I want to see him go, like, I don't know. I want to see him doing something, tearing something up, like,
Dude, and
outside of the pit.
what's the blue guy's name that was in Jabba's palace playing the music? What's
Max
his name?
Rebo? Max Rebo.
Yeah. How did he survive? He was like was in the.
Was he on the
he's-
barge?
He's
I don't
scrappy.
I don't think so.
He was in
They
He,
had
mu-
a-
he must
they had
not
a-
have been.
They had a gig at
Obviously.
Tashi Station that day.
Oh, that's that claymation or whatever, like episode or whatever, right?
Where they're
Yeah.
where they're writing jingles.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
The Cantina
big mi-
band.
a
The
big
Cantina
mistake,
band was
E.
off at Mos Eisley,
Yeah.
and Max
Yeah.
Rebo had to go play there that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool stuff. So, what would you guys rate episode 1 and 2 so far, and just the Book of Boba Fett so far, 1 out of 10? How you enjoying it right now? What's the good? What's the bad?
Oh, my tweets are gonna say it sucks and he's fat and needs Weight Watchers and
He's too old.
there's
He's too old to
yeah.
begin training.
I need my echo chamber to make me feel like my opinions are validated, and then I'll be good. But I'm really enjoying it. Like, the first episode, like that was a fantastic episode for me. That answer, I mean, what did we talk about before it came out? I wanted to see what? I wanted to see more about the Sarlacc pit. I wanted to see him come out of it. Like those were the main things that I was
Yeah.
concerned about,
The
right?
the CG at the end of episode 1 was a little rough
Yeah.
and almost kind of unnecessary. I don't know. I don't even know what kind of
Which part are we
animal
talking about?
/ monster
The
that was.
forearm Goro.
It was
Oh, yeah, from Mortal Kombat.
Fight.
Finish him. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so the first episode I thought was fine. I mean, I was over too quick. I mean, if I have a complaint, that was
Yeah,
what it
40
is.
it was
just-
like what, 40 minutes? Not even.
Yeah.
It was too short.
Pretty short. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. There may be some generational stuff that happens, right? Like, depending on how old you are and how invested you were in the original trilogy and stuff. Like, this is definitely a love letter to those of us that were. I mean, for some of us that were born in the 70s, even, right? And
Yep.
and maybe even before, like born in the 60s and everything. Growing up in the 80s, like this is the kind of stuff we would constantly think about and
Yeah.
wonder, like, how did Boba, like, I mean, every time I would see that scene, I'm like, there's no way he got done for, right? Even as a little kid, I'm like, there's no way Boba Fett's not coming back, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I mean, I don't. Do you want a number? Like, if I'm going to give a number, they both
Yeah.
get
Just give me a
9,
loose
really.
loose number for now.
Yeah, like I'll give them 9s. Like it, I never felt bored. I did fall asleep, but I was watching it like 1 a.m. last night, and then fired it back up this morning while I was having my coffee. So, you know, but I even loved like that goofy droid that like flies out the window of the train and then turns into a spider and walks away. Like
Mhm.
that's such a Jabba Palace style droid. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it just.
Well, and
just-
even the droid that was branding the feet or whatever is his servant droid now.
Yeah.
And that's the droid I told you guys about on the show that I had 2 of, and I put one on my baseboard heater in my bedroom and cranked it, and
Melted.
then went away and came back, and he was all melted in, and I was like, Mom, and I was cold the rest of the time I lived in that room because they never replaced that heater, and he was stuck there, and they didn't want to catch fire. So seeing that is like a huge, like, you know, just like a takes me back, you know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm my biggest complaint with everything is I don't understand why these TV shows have to look like a soap opera and they can't look more like a cinematic film. It's
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? Are they like intentionally using cheaper cameras? Are the depth of field on their lenses not as good? Like what is the purpose of that?
It might
'Cause
be
I
the
wish-
it might be the volume.
It could be. But then I'm like, just in post, add some grain on the film or something. Like, I just want it to look a little. It looks a little bit like a set, right? And the older films and everything, they were just a little more believable. So, but I mean, it's a minor. Like, as I'm sitting there watching it, I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I can do it with that and just enjoy what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Nate.
First one I enjoyed, but not quite as much as the second one. I like the flashback stuff, but I wasn't as invested in the like present day stuff of Boba, so that one kind of just felt off. I actually wish they had released the first 2 together, so you could just go right into them and just
I was exactly
or somehow make the longer, because they've done that with a few things where they've brought them, but the second one was much better, and I'd probably give it up in the 9 area. The first one closer to an 8, maybe a little bit below. But again, like the CG of the monster at the end, that just did not look good. It looked
Yeah.
out of place. It just not. But it definitely got better in the second episode, and I think the rest will be fine. But I wish they had just combined them into one or
Yep.
split them better. Or, maybe we could have gotten more of the flashbacks in the first one than we did in the second one or something.
I think it's
Well,
worth noting too the white jumpsuit that we got to see all through this episode.
Yeah.
You know, that he was like
that he
I don't know,
lived
there
in
was
for a
just-
long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's comical when he goes to the Tashi station
Mhm.
and he's like he looks like a dad in his pajamas. Like, it's just,
Dad that can still kick ass.
yeah, in his PJs.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I feel very similar to both of you guys, and Nate especially. Like, I think together, collectively, this hour and 30 minutes or so of what they had was fantastic. I would give it a 9 together. I think the second one was better than the first one, but the first one has its merits because like Josh said, it really establishes who Boba was and is growing to be, and you see some of that backstory. I think a lot of the hate and criticism comes from the fact that, well, the first one was directed by Robert Rodriguez, and we had a pretty badass fight from Boba in the tragedy in Mando season 2, which the fight was less cinematic, and I feel like we saw so much of it with just the shield surrounding. There wasn't much more to that fight than what we saw in the trailers. So, and we still have yet to see like the meeting of the generals. That's kind of the last thing that we have seen in previews that we haven't yet seen in the show. That's kind of after we get past that, then it's going to be wide open. Where are we going?
Yeah.
But we also have the comparison of Mando season 1, episode 1, where it was shootout at the OK Corral with IG-11, which was a super fun fight scene to watch. And then the oh shit moment at the end where there's Grogu sitting there in a bassinet, and Yoda and Yaddle are not the last two of their species. And that was just, and this didn't have that moment. And so I think people at that point start just nitpicking, and it does become nitpicking, but in Filoni and Favreau we trust, and I think they know how to weave stuff in and out of each other and make a great story, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to
Let's talk a
agree.
little bit about that fight though, real quick.
Yeah.
I think Crawler and I were talking about it, and it's like they know they're fighting Boba Fett. How else do you try to fight him? Of course, you just put up shields and surround him and pray to God he doesn't like disintegrate your ass, right? Like, I mean, that's
like he did the guy on the freaking wall. Yeah.
yeah. And so I just feel like my thought is that Rodriguez was trying to show, look, Boba Fett is still a force to be reckoned with, and they know they can't take him one at a time. Like, they literally have to attack and try to contain him, and he's uncontainable, right? I think that's kind of what that scene.
Yeah. How many hits did he take with that freaking shock stick, dude? Like, and it took a guy out with one hit, and he was like just tanking it, you know? Yeah.
So I don't know. That's part of why I wasn't too. I mean, of course, but I'm probably on a like that fight against the stormtroopers in Mandalorian when he showed up. I'm still like I wasn't like totally sold on it, because it was like the way he was hitting them and like their armor and stuff was breaking. It was like, are they literally just wearing cheap plastic? Like, what is going? Like, what are we supposed to believe they're wearing at this point? You know.
But now
I
you
mean?
see
Like,
what a gaffy stick's made out of, though, with metal and that wood kind of ingrained together.
It's like ironwood, which is no joke. You know, that stuff's gnarly. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, when it comes to entertainment, most of the time I kind of just shut my brain off and try to find the things I can enjoy versus like ripping everything apart and like jumping to Twitter so that I can try to get in my echo chamber, because like I just
How about you, Neil? What'd you think?
I have to agree with you guys. Like, when the first episode ended, I was like, oh man, that's it. Like, I wanted so much more. Like, I just wanted the story to keep going, you know? Like, it was good backstory, and it felt so good that I wanted more, you know? And I was kind of just left with like, like, it was really cool seeing Boba look at that kid and being like, with the chain, you know, like, I got him, you know? And it was really cool to see that. But it's like, I felt like the build up to episode 2 was worth the wait, because we need that backstory for Boba, because he had like, what, 6 minutes of screen time besides The Mandalorian. So we need a little bit more backstory because some of the people watching this have never read the comics, have never read the books. So you need to build a little bit of that backstory, I think, for more the typical Star Wars fan, right? Not the uber nerds like we are sometimes. So for me, I really enjoyed it. There's not much I didn't like about it, other than I felt like it was too short because I wanted more. Like I want more and more and more of Boba. So I'd have to agree with you guys. I'd probably give it like right now, just because I don't know where it's going yet, like an 8.5. Kind of like in leeway with like an 8.5. It could flex up to a 9, just because I kind of want to see where it's going to go. Like right now, I feel like we got really good backstory. I want to see how the Tusken Raiders are going to work with this. Crimson Dawn, the Pikes, the Hutts, like the governor, like, or the mayor or whoever it was. I want to see how all that's going to work together. So it's like, right now, I can kind of flex between an 8 to a 9.
Can we ask one question? How lazy was Jabba that he had a bedchamber like he has upstairs, that he slept in his throne room? Like,
Yep.
he just slept on the sled.
Yeah. He was just like, I'm just going to chill here. Lazy. Yeah.
I think too within the second episode, like the mind blowing thing, like we talked about at the end of Mandalorian with being Grogu. I think seeing the Hutts and that Wookiee were kind of meant to be that kind of set piece, because I mean they showed them and then they immediately go into more history of Boba and him and the Sand People, right? And so like they left us with a kind of a massive cliffhanger of like, what kind of war is going to go down? What kind of fight is going to happen here?
Yeah.
What do the Hutts have that they can bring if Boba's bringing the Sand People? Like, we could potentially see some kind of massive brawl, right? And so I don't like, I was super excited, and then like it was almost just like, okay, I know where we're going. Yeah, more of this backstory stuff's cool, right? Like that's just kind of where I went in my head, and I mean, I'm ready for the next episode.
Yeah.
At least all the Hutts are speaking Huttese and not basic, because that one is it Clone Wars or is it Clone Wars episode, right? Where
Zero.
It was the movie, right? Where he
shows up in the series too.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, a Hutt speaking basic just is kind of weird.
Yep. Well, right on, guys. I think that'll about wrap it up for this episode. I can't wait for more. I mean, this is just...
Wait.
Yes. Yes, Josh.
I have 2 random facts.
Oh, yes. Josh's random
They're quick.
Star Wars facts.
They're quick. Yeah, they're quick. They're quick.
That's what she said.
Yoda was almost played by a monkey.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. According
Like,
to the book of The Making of Star Wars by J.W. Rinsler, George Lucas originally planned for Yoda to be played by an adorable monkey wearing a mask and carrying a cane.
Oh, my gosh.
Like a chimpanzee?
I guess so. I guess so. Here's one other random fact. The word Ewok was never spoken in the original trilogy.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The word Ewok is never uttered by a character in the original trilogy, although the species is identified in the script and the closing credits.
Wow. Never even thought about that. Wow. Those are good, Josh's.
Well, it's good. I mean, that makes sense though, because they don't know what they are, and the Ewoks speak their own language. I guess C-3PO could have said something, but
Yeah. Dang. That's a good one, Josh. I didn't even know that. Good one.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us. Make sure you visit MuleHornGaming.com. Click on the podcast menu where you can find more great podcasts like this one and the Halo Infinite podcast. You can subscribe right here for future episodes and more great videos. Also, check out the description for great ways you can support us. Your Amazon, Epic Creator Code, all that fun stuff. And guys, remember,
The Force will be with you, always.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, Master.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us all.